Welcome. In this tutorial we're going to look at aviary.com. This is an online multi-track audio editor, and we're going to utilize this to create an MP3 creation for the audio editing assignment. Aviary.com, and once you arrive you can scroll down the page, and here are the tool sets that Aviary has. Notice they have a series of photo editors, vector editors, and design editors, as well as audio editors, all sort of in one package. Today we're going to look at the Mina editor, which is just a basic audio editor. But before we do that, let's go through the registration process. You need to register to be able to save and download your creation when you're done. So go ahead and register with a username, email, password, etc. Once you do that, it'll prompt you to log in. Now, to launch the editor, we click the launch button. It takes a few moments to load. The Mina audio editor is Flash-based, and once again, it should work across platforms and across browsers. Today I'm using Firefox. Now when it opens up, you get this menu down here on the bottom. This is a previously existing library of sounds that are available to you and for use within your creations. Let's start by clicking this green library button and shrinking that menu. We don't need that to start. Here we are. This is a pretty simple multi-track layout. Notice that from top to bottom we have track 1, track 2, track 3. These are each audio tracks. I have this, and I'm just grabbing and dragging on it, this red triangle and the red line that goes down the screen. This is called the playhead. So it starts at second 0 in your audio, and then as we play it moves across the screen, playing the audio at the different seconds within the track. Within each track we have a volume slider, and we also have the ability to pan between the left and the right speakers just by clicking and dragging. So sometimes folks like to mix multiple audio that way. The first step really is to import some previously existing audio. And the way that you do that is to go to Import Audio from the File drop-down menu. So I'm going to do that. Pops open a menu, and the first step is to browse. Notice here we have the different supported audio file formats: WAV, AIF, MP3, etc. And on my computer I've already got a file here that I distributed in class, some Creative Commons audio from archive.org. So I'll click on this, open it up. I'm going to click Next. Now Aviary is a community where you're able to share your files and your audio, image creations, etc. So you're asked to you need to give it a file, and it just by default uses the file name of your, like for example, this MP3 file. You could type a description and tags if you would like to share your information with the community. For this class, I suggest that we only you can see this creation, meaning that it's private, it's not public, it doesn't show up, and you should only make your audio creations public to others if you are using materials that you own the rights to. Now, the Creative Commons licenses says that we can use them, but we don't own all rights to them, so we're not going to make these public at this point. You do have the opportunity to create the license if you own the material that you're using. We're going to click Next, and once again here's some more advanced information about the track, but we're not going to fill that in because we're going to keep these files private for now for this assignment. I'm going to click Upload, and it does take a moment to upload the track depending on your internet speed. Once your file is finished uploading, it asks if you'd like to upload another. Right now I'm going to say no thank you. Now you'll notice that over here in the right side of the screen a menu was popped open, and it shows me my imported files. There's the MP3 file that I just imported. You can open and shut this area of imported files using this button down here in the bottom left, imported. So if you lose your files, click on the imported button, you'll be able to find it. Once I have my MP3, and this is some piano music, pulled into Aviary, what I can do is drag it into this track, and now I have my audio on the track. I'm going to just click down on it and pull it so that it goes all the way up against the edge here. Now I can pull my timeline over. This is the waveform of the audio itself. So I know that the audio starts playing here. I can click the play button down here. You can also hit the spacebar to start it playing. Now notice as the playhead moves from left to right across the screen, we're looking at it move through seconds in time, and we can see it interacting with the waveform, which represents the music as it plays. So I'm going to hit the spacebar, which stops my playhead. Now I have the option down here at the bottom to rewind, which pulls my playhead back a little bit. I have the same fast forward. And then on the far right here, I can go to the beginning or go to the end. So I'm going to go to the beginning. Now up here in this gray menu, I have these are measures and beats, particularly measure 1, measure 2, measure 3. Now this is oriented more towards music making. I'm going to scroll down here and click on this button which says time. And now I have second 0, second 2, second 4, second 6. And I find that seconds are a little easier to look at when we're talking more about narrated audio creations as opposed to musical creations. I have a slider here which enables me to slide through my creation. Now I'm at second 55. So you can move around that way. I can also scroll down here. I have a zoom in and zoom out button. Right now I'm going to zoom it out so I can see more of the track. Now let's see, if I move to the end of my track, I can see that this is roughly 420, almost 440 minutes, seconds in length. I don't need that much audio. Right now I'm going to select a piece of this music that I'm going to use for my creation, and I'm going to delete the rest of it. Now there's a couple of ways to do that. I'm going to click the select tool here, and I get a little kind of cursor. I'm going to start here and click my button down, pull across the selection of music that I'd like to keep, and then once I let go, it shows me this is my selected area, and out of the full 4 minutes of music. If I go to the edit menu, I have trim clip to selection and split clip at selection. Now if I trim it, it takes off everything except what I had selected. That's a handy tool. I'm going to click, this is an undo button, and I can also go to the menu undo. So I'll hit select and select pretty much that same amount of music again. And this time when I hit split clip at selection, notice that it actually puts a cut in the audio file itself. So I can select here, and I know it's selected because it's a little darker blue than the other pieces of the audio. I can select here, and now I can delete this. I'm going to select here and delete that as well. The difference being that when I trim it, it deletes everything at the beginning and at the end, everything that wasn't selected by my select tool. When I split it at the playhead, it does not when I split it at the playhead, I still have this piece of audio, which then I can maybe move to another track. I can move around. and it doesn't necessarily delete it straight away. So depending on whether you want to have the remainder of your audio from that file, you can either trim it or split it. I'm going to delete this. Now that being said, I could always go back up to my imported files and drag another copy of that file into my workspace. So just because you delete it doesn't mean that the file's gone. You always have that in your imported files up there. So I'm going to select that and delete it. I have almost 20 seconds worth of piano music. And the way I'm thinking about this project at this point is that I'm going to have a little bit of intro music, and then I'm going to have a track that has some narrated audio that I record that's my voice, and then I'm going to have a little bit of outro piano music as well. I have imported some audio, brought it onto track 1, which I click right here next to track 1. I'm going to rename that piano intro. So now that track reflects that. And I've edited my track. It's a good time to save. So I'm going to say save. Now I save this to Aviary mainly so that at the end I can export this out to an MP3. I'm going to name it, let's see, OLIT 525. Actually, I'm going to put my name first. Audio. I'm just going to use the permissions and licenses, the defaults, and I'm going to hit save. Takes a moment. And it prompts me with this mixdown window. We'll talk about mixdowns later. That's the step towards getting an MP3 or a WAV version a little later. I'm going to close this. Great, so let's edit this audio a little bit. I'm going to zoom back in on this chunk of audio. Now that I've trimmed it down, I can actually see it. Within the track itself, once again, I have my volume slider and my pan left and right slider. I can click on Auto, and it opens up another menu. And particularly to start, I'm interested in fading in. So when I click the Fade button, I get these two little gray squares, one at the beginning of the chunk and one at the end of the chunk. Fade in, fade out. If I click down on this little gray square and pull it to the right, it creates the fade for me. Now what this white line here is a visual representation that at second 0 the volume is 0, and that as the playhead moves across this white line, the volume will slowly increase until now it is at full volume at second 1. Now a fade, is just sort of a gentle way to introduce a track and slowly bring the volume up. The effects like this. Now it's such a quiet piece that you didn't really notice the fade, but if you bring in a track that is right in the middle of the music, in the middle of a song, it's useful to be able to fade in. So it gives you a gentle intro to the music, even though you're jumping right into the middle. So you can use the fade in. The fade out works the same way. Right now I'm going to leave it all the way over to the edge of the track, which means there is no fade at the end. So that's how you add a fade, and you can do that to any track by clicking Auto Fade.